Hey, welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I know I did. All right, listen, let's get into the best. So we're doing Married to Medicine. What is this? Season 12, episode 13, I think. Let me just double check that. Oh, wait, I got that all wrong. We're doing Married to Medicine, season 8, episode 12, Holy Mess. All right, let's get into the mess. Now, I know I'm always starting off by saying something that y'all drag me for, but let me just say, I find Dr. Jackie to be really, really cruel. In the fact that, I'm not going to go in all the seasons, but the fact that she opens up, you are a fertility specialist. You help, well, you're an OBGYN, but you deal in people with fertility cases. You help people get pregnant. Just hear me out on this and then we'll get to the mess. You help people get pregnant. Oftentimes when people come to you, they are at their wits' end. They are feeling low. They are feeling demoralized. I know it was Dr. Jackie's choice not to have children, or at least that's what she said. I don't know if that's true or not. But I will say that, first of all, telling a 40-year-old woman that she is elderly to have a child is neither constructive. It is not nice. It is cruel, but mostly also as a fertility specialist, you know it's bullshit, Dr. Jackie, because the whole thing that women, once they hit 28, they start going down with fertility is a misnomer. It was made in 1912 by French fertility specialists, and it is a myth that they have used to actually get women to settle down and have children early. Now, while it is true your fertility does go down, you know how I know this? Because I Googled it, right? While it is true that your fertility does go down as you age, when you are in your 30s, right, you have an 86% chance of, no, I'm sorry, when you're in your late 20s, you have an 86% chance of getting pregnant. When you are in your mid 30s, it goes down to 83%. And guess what? When you're in your 40s, it's a 79% chance. You still have a high chance of getting pregnant when you are in your early 40s to even mid 40s. After that, there are some issues. But to call a woman that is really desperate for a child and coming to an elderly, it's just like, again, I don't know why. I think Dr. Jackie feels some type of way that she never had children. I really do. Even the shit she did with Buffy. But anyway, let's move on. I know y'all going to argue with me in the comments. It's fine. Also, as long as we keep respectful, it's no problem. But let's get down to the real thing. Contessa and Simone are meeting with Toya after the fallout from the party. Where Toya, I know some of y'all don't like Toya. She broke my heart when she cried. Like, I saw her tears and I understood the frustration. They're meeting. And, Contessa's like, do you think anything that you did, maybe cause it? And Toya was like, I didn't do anything, right? However, Contessa being like Toya lacks self-awareness, that actually made me think, because I think Contessa lacks self-awareness, but then I remembered Contessa's a Gemini. And maybe Contessa knows what she's doing with Scott. Maybe she knows she's playing it up for the cameras. She's getting under Scott's Scorpio skin. I don't know. But here's the thing, when Toya was like, I didn't do anything to her. I don't think that Toya lacks self-awareness. I think that Toya, like most fire signs, and especially Aries, have their own code of ethics. And Aries looks at doing something to someone because they're so upfront and they're so this. If you really want to hurt an Aries, be passive-aggressive, be two-faced, talk behind their back, right? Because they don't know how to fight that war. They only know how to come at you swinging because they are child to war. Aries, when Toya said I didn't do anything to her, Toya was not lying, because even though they showed a montage where Toya was being a bit like harsh, rude, well, some people consider it rude, but if you know Aries, you just know, no, Aries value honesty, right? She was being really honest to her, and she was being honest to her in her face. And to Toya, that was showing her respect, because when Aries respect you, they see you as just as strong as them, right? And they come at you with the warrior thing because they're like, you're just as strong as me. That's why we're friends. So it's a sign of respect to think somebody is strong enough to really be honest to them. So that's what Toya meant when she was like, I didn't do anything to her. She's like, I was your friend. I respected you. I did this and that. I was honest. I treated you with respect. Now, Simone is just looking like, Toya has a lot of pride, and Toya needs to get over her pride, which is true. She is an Aries woman. We do know that is Aries' Achilles heel, their pride. However, Anila is on some bullshit, y'all. She's on some bullshit. Listen, I understand she's on reality TV and I understand she's trying to secure a second season. But there is something about if I bring you into this group, I do expect a certain amount of loyalty. Do I expect you to kiss my butt? No. Do I expect you to be sitting across talking shit about me to the person that just humiliated me the week before? Come on, y'all. Can we stop? Here's the thing. Everybody talks about, can we stop acting like they're not on a reality TV show? And then Quad. Quad is a Taurus, and I know as a Taurus, you never insult their home. But the way Quad is so vocal about her feelings, she has to either have Scorpio or Pisces, moon or rising, right? Maybe even a Pisces rising, Scorpio moon. She has heavy water in her chart because I know Tauruses get hurt. I know that Tauruses, once you cross them, they never forget, but they're really, really quiet about the way they do things. They're low-key like assassins the way they do stuff. They put their head down. They don't make a public comment. But they always get you in the end, right? It's done with a certain amount of dignity and class. I'm not saying Quad doesn't have any class, but do you know what I'm saying? You know that elegant, dangerous, like, slip some poison in your tea real quick class, and then sit there while you're like, and look at you and you're like, call the ambulance. And they're just like, no, I put the poison in your tea. Bye. There's a certain elegance that happens to poetic justice when a Taurus gets you back. Again, these are Tauruses I know. Let me know in the comments if y'all know Tauruses to be like whatever, right? But Quad is still going on and she's like, how Toya talk about my house and call its phone? She's still upset about that. That shit hurt her to her core, right? And Anila just sitting there like, look, Toya changed and this and that. Girl, Quad doesn't like you. Quad does not like you quiet as it's kept. You can tell by the way Quad looks at her and Quad acts. Now, here's the thing. There is a bit of fakeness to the way Quad, but that's the thing with Tauruses. It's not that they're being fake. It's just the fact that they don't see the point in expressing how they really feel because it's not going to help their goal or help the situation. Tauruses don't make waves just to make waves. Everything's very, very strategic. I don't look at that as being phony and fake. It's just the way Tauruses go about. Just like Aries come hard and put their foot in it, but they're like, oh, but I was being honest. Let's move on, right? But to that point, Quad doesn't like Anila, and Anila doesn't have any discernment because the fact that you're sitting across from Quad and you really think like you're making a connection and you really think that Quad cares and I can see Quad's Taurus eyes check out when Anila is talking. But anyway, Quad doesn't like Anila. Heavenly doesn't like Anila because, Heavenly doesn't like anybody that is the pretty girl. She talked about her sister. And listen, I know y'all think I drag Heavenly. I think Heavenly is really fun. I like Heavenly a lot. But when Heavenly gets into her trauma from childhood and anybody triggers it, that's the side of Heavenly that I'm just like, can you go leave that? The way Heavenly talked about her sister was lighter complexion. Heavenly doesn't like anybody that's lighter than her. Just not personally, just off of triggers, because it takes her back to the dynamic with her mom and her sister and the way she was nothing and the way she was no one. And it makes her feel small. When she feels small, she starts swinging up. She fights what's hers. Heavenly doesn't like Anila, right? Truth be told, I don't really like Anila. When I say that, I don't find her particularly funny. I don't find her particularly interesting. I feel like she was bought in just to be a placeholder for Mariah. Indian couple, right? Or Black India. Okay, we'll just take all Indian, even better, right? I don't know, right? But besides that, they're talking. Anyway, let's move on. So now we go to Anila's house. Her mother's there. She has her nanny, Miss Gomez. Can I say something that might be unpopular? I find it interesting that Anila has a nanny in her house that looks better than her. Now, hear me out. I'm not that type of woman that's just like, oh, no women can be in my house and this and that. And all my girlfriends are drop dead gorgeous. That's not it. But when I think I'm pretty secure. But when it comes to another woman in my house, raising my kids, cooking dinner, basically being the stand-in me for my family, no. And the thing is, Anila is Indian. and I don't know if this is Indian culture, but a lot of my Indian girlfriends have a thing with age, right? So if you're over a certain age, it's like, oh, you're an auntie, you're this, you're that, you're undesirable. It's not like in America where you can be 30, 40, 50 and still like doing it up, right? It's like once you turn 40, people are like, geriatric, they're on some Dr. Jackie stuff. So I feel like she feels like she's not threatened by her because it's like, oh, you're an old woman. What will my husband want from you? Her nanny, Miss Gomez, looks good. Quiet as kept, she looks better than you, Anita. I always say to my boyfriend, right, if we were ever to have kids, right, and I got a nanny, right, because if we have kids, I would just stay home and just be a stay-at-home mom. But if we were to get a nanny, because she would have to be lesbian, 800 pounds, related to you, and not some distant cousin, but like, no, you're my first cousin. Like, we are related. And what's more, once you dead. Yes, every morning I would have to talk her down from her putting you in the ground. And then I consider having that person in my house being the stand-in me. But anyway, let's move on, right? So her mom's there, and they bought her some stuff for Holi. I didn't know this. Holi, I knew what Holi was, but I didn't know that when you throw it, it's supposed to be like getting away bad spirits. And it's resetting the clock with everybody that you have beef with, and everybody becomes friends, right? So she's talking about this. She's talking about the way that she's going to combine her daughter's birthday party with Holi because they just moved in. They're trying to save money. Whatever. Do you? Smart answer, right? I did find it interesting that she said that Holi is all about forgiveness. But then when Quad is such an instigator, and Anila is, I don't know if she's really doesn't have this discernment, or she's just doing this for a storyline. Her storyline is she's shocked by Toya. Like, maybe this is a storyline. But Anila is like, well, I don't know if I'm going to invite Quad. And I'm like, but isn't the whole point of Holi to actually forgive the people and move on? So I thought it was interesting. It's like, you don't want to invite Toya, but the whole, whatever, right? And Quad, well, she hasn't shown accountability. I'm telling you, Quad has she might even be a Cancer. Actually, not a Pisces, because I know one thing about Pisces. Pisces will feel all that internally, but Pisces usually are very, very, they only open up to people that they're close to, right? But they're very, very, clandestine with what they truly, truly feel. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Pisces will have an emotional breakdown and people close to them will know, but they won't let the world know because they're very prideful, just like Taurus is. So maybe it's the Cancer, because the way she will not let this go, and she's like, well, Toya hasn't shown accountability. You got to do what's best for you. Quad, never change. Okay, so then we go over to Simone's house. Simone is having a dinner party. Come through, Chef Angie. That food, I'm watching this, drinking like a beet smoothie. Ugh. And that food looks so good. Those shrimp and grits, that charcuterie board, everything just looks mwah, mwah, mwah. And I am one for presentation, so that's good. But let's move on to the mess of the evening. So the first couples that we start off with, I guess everybody's not coming. I thought they were inviting everyone. I'm watching this real time. So it's Simone and her husband, Cecil. I really like them as a couple. I think Simone is absolutely gorgeous. Cecil's really handsome. Toya walks in, body, yaddy, yaddy, giving face, body. Toya, to me, is just so gorgeous. Eugene, I love Eugene. I think he's really handsome. I think they're a really good-looking couple. And Scott and Contessa, actually, you know what? Everybody on this show is a pretty good-looking couple, aside from a few. But Scott and Contessa, really beautiful couple too. Whatever that baby plasma he's putting in her edges is working. It looks great. And, they start eating. Food looks so good. They ask a question over like, what couple would you swing with? And everybody takes, what's her name? Contessa and her husband. And, Contessa, listen, I've seen you guys in the comments. I know everybody's theory on Contessa, but Contessa is very, very open and very, very perhaps fluid. But I see why even that Gemini and that Scorpio, no matter how much they argue, because I was like, what's the connection? Yeah, I see what the bond is. They probably be tearing it up in the sheets. But anyway, they're talking. Toya starts talking about, listen, sometimes I argue in front of the children. And then Simone, arguing's a choice. Simone, shut up. You and Cecil just got right after like seasons 2 through 6, y'all arguing like cats and dogs. Cecil done moved out. Now he moved back in. But I get it. She's giving advice, even though Simone, shut up. Because when it was your turn, you couldn't stop bickering from the kids. The kids even saw y'all move out together. But anyway, Toya's like, yeah, and she thinks it's because of the pandemic. To be honest with you, Toya has a point. The pandemic was rough on everybody's relationship, but they pulled through. I feel like if you could make it through the pandemic, you could make it through anything, because a lot of things that you can ignore, it was right up in your face. You know how like your spouse or your boyfriend, whoever, or even your family might be getting on your nerves, and you just can go out, blow some steam off, and you come back and you're like, whatever. Yeah, you couldn't blow steam off. So it was that was going on. And honestly enough, I think they also work because they're two fire signs. Eugene is a Leo, if I'm not mistaken. So he likes the way Toya is like out there, So that's good. Contessa and Scott, the thing is, I feel like Contessa is also on the show with someone who's old school. I don't mean old school like misogynist, but Scorpios are incredibly private, just like Tauruses, right? And yeah, we can talk about anything between us, but when the cameras are rolling, Scorpios are very much about keeping up appearances, just like Tauruses are, right? So it's kind of like, it's not the point that I think Scott is belittling Contessa, or he might be, actually, I don't want to speak on that. He might be, but I feel like he's like, like when she's like, he told me I was nothing, and she starts breaking down, because Contessa loves to start an argument with Scott in front of everybody, because it puts Scott in a different advantage. I feel like at home, Scott be like meeting her where she at, and she feels like she can't win that argument, so she does it publicly, because she knows Scorpio Scott is gonna sit there, and Scott's like, yo, can you relax, right? Like, this is a dinner party, stop talking shit, like, can you relax? And I'm the same way. You can argue at me when we get home and curse me out dirty, and we can go at it, but when I'm out in a public situation, don't embarrass me. Don't let everybody know what's going on in my business. Maybe it's not a Scorpio, like, I'm not a Scorpio, but it's like, do not let everybody know what's going on in my business. Please don't embarrass me. Like, stop it. So I felt Scott when he was like, can you relax, right? And she's like, no, don't tell me to relax. It's belittling. And I'm just like, I don't know what it is, but whenever Geminis get emotional, I always side-eye them, because I'm like, this is a game to you. I know you feel emotions, but this is a bit of a game to you. I don't know, right? And listen, no shade to Geminis. Same with Libras, same with air signs. When an air sign gets emotional out of the blue, it's not like they were arguing and then the emotion came pouring out. It's not like you got them to that point, unless maybe they were arguing right before they walked in. Let me stop speaking about the relationship, because there might be a lot of shit that I don't see, because when a Gemini or any air sign just gets emotional out the blue like that, like a water sign, I'm always like, this isn't real. But again, maybe they got worked up in the car and then she came out, and it's what happened. But anyway, she's like, this isn't working anymore. She doesn't want to be with him anymore, at least at this point, right? And Scott is just like, even the way Contessa's like, he answers calls while we're talking. Girl, y'all were in marriage. Again, maybe Scott's an a-hole, right? But I see a lot of myself in Scott. Like, if I was in therapy and I had an important call, I would step out too, because this conversation is always going to be here, but I need to get this important call. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know, right? And Simone, and even Simone and Cecil see like, yo, this is not good. Simone and Cecil are a really good thing. Simone is a Pisces, and Pisces can be super emotional. And when you are on their bad side, they become the devil incarnate. Like, yo, they are the silent assassins. So they have the emotional gifts of a Cancer and the mental gifts of a Gemini combined into one. Pisces are nothing to be messed with. They have the cutest, most loving smiles, but yo, they can turn into like real dangers, right? However, that's when you're on a Pisces bad side. Right now, Cecil, that Libra, is enjoying Pisces. When you're in a good space with them, they are the most loving, the most giving, the most fun. Their smile lights up the room. Simone and Cecil right now are in a really good stage. And Cecil, the Libra, is like luxuriating in Simone being happy and content. And I'm here for it. All right, let's forget. Dr. Jackie is creating a skincare line for Black women for sunscreen and shit like that. Good for her. I don't know how much it is, but if you guys are looking for a good sunscreen for Black women, I'm talking about my complexion on down that is so affordable and doesn't, y'all, you have to go to Target. There's Black Girl Sunscreen. They have a moisturizing one that literally you never have to put anything on your face. It gives you this beautiful glow. Or they have a matte one if you have oily texture. I think the sunscreen is only like $13.99. It's always on sale. And when I say it has no cast, it does everything. And it's a beautiful sunscreen. So if you guys don't have the coins or Jackie stuff isn't out yet, check out Black. This, of course, is not an endorsement. However, Black Girl Sunscreen wants to endorse me, hit me up in my DMs. But I'm telling y'all, just a little makeup advice. Get yourself some Black Girl Sunscreen. Your skin is going to be so much better for it. Anyway, bye. Well, let's move on. As y'all know, they have breakdown, like all of Scott and Contessa's arguments, they have a breakdown. Everybody gets involved. Everybody gets emotionally, hooked on it. And then, boom, it goes to nothing. Y'all, this is the life of being around anybody that dates a Scorpio. They go to heaven, hell, up, down again, and then they're right back to being happy. But that said, Contessa might leave if she's not happy, but Scott's not going anywhere because this is what Scorpios look for, right? So they go up and down. Scott agrees that he's going, and even while they're talking, right? And Toya's like, this is a circle of confidence. With the cameras right there, Scott's looking at her like, Toya, stop playing with me, right? Scott gets on the phone and starts texting while they're talking about working on it. But again, he said he's going to stop running from arguments, and Contessa's like, can you stop looking at them like arguments? And he's like, oh yeah, that too. She's going to stop browbeating him on the head with therapy. Y'all, everybody's like, oh, they need to be in therapy. So I'm putting lotion on. But honestly, no, because Contessa said no, because honestly, Contessa's sick of going to therapy too. That's why she said she's going to stop browbeating Scott, because she needs Scott to think that it was his choice. Y'all, I do think that Contessa in her Gemini ways is checked out of this marriage. And that's why she doesn't even want to go to therapy anymore. Because one thing I know about air signs, when they stop caring about the outcome is when they're like, yeah, you can do what you want. We don't got to go to therapy. We don't got to talk. Matter of fact, we don't even got to argue. That's when they start checking out. Believe it or not, when an air sign is nagging you or after you, that's when they care. When they stop beating you over the head, that's when they've completely checked out. And they're like, you can do anything you want because I'm not going to be here in a year. So listen, let it be known that this is the first time in history that one of Dr. Simone's and couples activity has not ended in people screaming, yelling, crying, and everything else. This was actually a really good outcome. And it's odd that it didn't end, and who wasn't there? Heavenly wasn't there. Jackie wasn't there. And of course, Mariah wasn't there, but I have a soft spot for Mariah. Y'all bring her back. We need to start a petition, but it's so funny they weren't there and everything turned out fine. Anyway, let's move on to Anila. We are at Anila's daughter's birthday. Her daughter comes out in like the soiree, pink and yellow. She looks like a little princess, right? The whole family looks good. Her dad made a joke. Anila's husband was like, Anila's like, I negotiated all of this, because he was like, yo, how much am I paying for this? And she was like, I negotiated everything. And he was like, oh, I'm sure you did. Her husband's actually really funny, right? She was like, I'm sure you did. She was like, I want all of it. And they were like, you need to pay for all of it. And you were like, fine. Yo, I loved Aiden and Mariah. I really did. But Mariah with him will become, you know what? You don't even have to get rid of Anila and her husband. Bring Mariah and Aiden back, because I actually think that Anila's husband and Aiden would get along really well. And I feel like Anila and Mariah might, maybe, right? But, so then we go to Dr. Contessa and Toya are coming over. I don't know. Did I grow up differently? Because Toya said hell and shit. I hope I don't get censored for this on YouTube. And Dr. Contessa was like, whoa. Girl, this is 2021 and your boys are like, what, 12, 13? You think they never heard? But anyway, different strokes for different folks. They're little kids. You shouldn't be cursing in front of little kids, right? To which this ties into what Simone was saying about Toya. Like, Toya, you need to censor yourself a little bit in front of kids. I see the point, even though I don't think those words are a big deal. Contessa looks absolutely gorgeous with that blonde hair, that mask, and that hat. Contessa's a really beautiful woman. She has such emotive eyes. She's really, all the girls are beautiful, but that blonde with the hair and the mask, I was like, who is that? Do it, Contessa. Do it, Contessa. They get over there. They show that Anila stopped over at Contessa's house, and of course the Libra, Lisa Nicole, was there, brought them together and made them apologize. You know one thing about Libras for sure. You can call them fake, you can call them phony, you can call them this. When Libras get mad, they can be the devil incarnate, and they can literally disrupt whatever's going on. They can literally be the seed to destruction where everything falls. However, when Libras do not like for their friends to argue, and they will move heaven and hell to bring everybody back together. That's what everybody says when Libras are peacekeepers. If they are friends and they are all circles, Libras need peace unless they want to tear it up. You know what it is. The hand that nourish you will always also destroy you. But yeah, Libras will make their friends make up. So they made up, even though we'll see, because Toya was still rolling her eyes about it. They get there. Carrie walks up. You know, Carrie looks cute. She's on her, like, Hamptons, rich white woman. You know, Carrie. She's always going to look like she's at the country club, right? Carrie comes up. Why did they bring Carrie back? Was that just a slap in the face to Mariah? Because Carrie is so unnecessary. Maybe she'll have a bigger role, but she's just so unnecessary, right? And quiet as it's kept, she wasn't even a fan favorite when the series was first on. Wasn't she on one season or two and then she left? She wasn't even a fan favorite. So why did you bring her back? It makes no sense. But, so then Quad and Heavenly come, and they do. Carrie makes a joke where she's like, are those the, is that Quad? No, not Quad. Is that, because you know Quad is not going any place looking bummy. So I take that back. A Taurus is always going to be laced. But Dr. Jackie and Heavenly show up, and they did look like, maybe because they thought there was going to be the paint thrown around and whatnot, they didn't want to wear anything nice, but you could have made yourselves look a little bit more presentable. That's just my opinion. They're over there like whatever. Heavenly hating as usual. Y'all can say what you want. Heavenly is smart. She is beautiful. She is funny, but she's a hater too. She's a very jealous-hearted woman. And a lot of her humor, which is why she's so funny, comes out of her jealousy. Why do you care? Listen, everybody in your circle is either rich, well off, or even if they're living paycheck to paycheck, their paychecks are a lot. If they want to throw their kids lavish birthday parties, what do you care? Why are you in everybody's pocket? Just do what you do and stay on the side and wait till they go broke so you can laugh and be like, see, that's why you shouldn't spend so much on a birthday party, right? Are they for the kids or are they for us? Quad, it's like Heavenly, it's like every lavish birthday party. It's for everyone, the adults and the kids. And if you got money, why would you be throwing? If you have money, I mean money, right? Or even if you have money to burn, why would I splash out on my kid's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese when I can have pony shows and we can have Holi and doing all this stuff? Like, why? And why do you care so much how people spend their money? She's a hater, but Scorpios can tend to be haters unless they're doing the best. Now, here's the thing. Heavenly, I bet you next season or it's going to have splash out on a party. And then it's going to be okay to splash out parties. Because you know Scorpios, when they start hating, it's okay. It's not okay until they do it bigger, better. And then it's okay, right? Jackie, so Anila's mom is like talking to her, and Anila's like is talking to Jackie and Heavenly, and Anila's like, oh, my mom put up a lot of shit for me. And then Jackie, are you gonna let her say that word? Jackie is such a control freak. I hate, y'all would know, you know, because I'm like all over the place. I tend to attract control freaks because they want to control me and calm me down and make me talk slower. But that's not happening, right? But I tend to attract, so I hate control freaks. Jackie is such a control freak that you are lecturing a woman who is 20, 30 years your senior on what she's allowing her daughter to do. If I was Anila's mom, even the way Anila's mom was like, yes, I heard that. Like, girl, get out of our relationship. Jackie is a control freak. But anyway, let's move. Simone and, God, why can't I remember anybody? Simone's not coming to the party. But Toya and Contessa get there, I guess a little late. Anila was annoyed. It's her party. I can understand because it seemed like it might have been editing, but it seemed like she was waiting for everybody to get there so they could actually cut the daughter's cake. So I would have been annoyed too. In the meantime, Heavenly, why are you there? You know what the thing is with Heavenly, she is a Scorpio, and most water signs, when they're in good moods, everybody can be in a good mood. But when they're not, they're just like, ugh, right? She's like, I know no paint better get on me. Girl, it is Holi. It is a festival. Can you get over it? The paint washes out. You have to get throwing like latex Benjamin Moore tape on you. Like, it is literally colored chalk. Can you stop, right? Then, didn't I tell you that Dr. Jackie was a control freak? She don't want to pet the animals because she doesn't know what they're thinking. You just have control freak tendencies and you don't like interacting with things that you don't feel like you can control, right? That's all it is. Just say what it is, right? They're going horseback ridings. Lisa makes Libra shade at Heavenly, being like, oh, the horse is buckling. And the thing is, Heavenly reacts back to her, and I can understand because, like, she understands. Lisa, like, Libra shade, it sounds lighthearted, everybody laughs, but when you think about what she said, that was really, really messed up, and you know Heavenly is sensitive about her weight, right? So then, like any Scorpio retaliation, she took it overboard. Lisa gets on and she starts talking, saying, ow, cover up your stomach, and just going, you know, when you go low with a Scorpio, they go to hell. So then Lisa gets off. She's mad. They're in a bad thing. Heavenly keeps going lower and lower and saying, that's why your man's not around. And Lisa's like, my man's still around. Quiet as kept. Daddy, there's been rumors about him stepping out, but they are just rumors, right? She was like, my man's still here. And she was like, yeah. They start arguing. And then Heavenly was like, why would I want a bee that can't keep a man? Because she's a Scorpio and she always takes things so far. Especially that should hurt her to her heart about her weight, you know? And then Anila, and this is when I was like, yo, I actually started respecting Anila. I mean, I always respected her, but I because she did what I would have did. She was like, stop it. This is my daughter's party. I'm not going to do this. Yeah, get those girls in line. What are you doing calling people bees, cursing people out, getting in arguments over at my daughter's party? Are you out of your damn mind? But again, Heavenly don't like Anila. She doesn't respect Anila. Heavenly never would have did this at Dr. Jackie's stuff, but whatever, right? Then they go over to eat after the little girl cuts her cake. She looks like a little princess. After she cuts her cake, they go over to eat. And Heavenly complaining because she's in a bad mood. Why I got peppers in the corn? Heavenly, shut the fuck up. Sorry. I should boot that. Shut the F up, Heavenly. Just eat the goddamn food. Heavenly's the only person I know that will come to somebody's party, rip it up and down, even down to the food. Say you're not participating. Why is you here? Jocelyn, her line. Why is you here, ho? Why is you here, right? Anyway, they do the dally. Half the girls are wearing like the sleep bonnets. I have a question. Y'all are all on a TV show. Could nobody have, first of all, it's colored chalk that'll wash out, but can nobody schedule a hair appointment afterwards? Because Quad came and she had her hair out. Quad looked so pretty. I love that long half up, half down. Quad looked really pretty. She had, and didn't I tell you a Taurus was going to come dipped and dressed and looking appropriate? That's one thing about Tauruses. They're going to come always looking correct, right? Quad was out there, but they had on bonnets, the rest of them. And I was like, why are y'all acting like y'all don't wash your hair? It is colored chalk. Girl, get in the shower. It's just odd to me. Like, and even if you don't wash your hair yourself, if you got extensions, if your hair, it takes a long time to get styled and you need to, then why don't just make a hairdresser appointment for like the day after, especially if you know that you are filming. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, after the Holi, they all held hands and Anila was like, I really want you and Quad to get back together. You know, you guys are like really good friends. And to Toya's point, how do you know? You don't even know what's going on. And why I appreciate Anila's effort to try to bring them together, you don't know what's going on. So how, like, you don't, like, I see, listen, Quad was being a bee. Anila was overstepping. And Toya wasn't receptive. I mean, Quad wasn't receptive. So Anila, never getting it. It's like getting in the middle of two arguing friends or couples. Just stay out of it. That's it. That's the thing. Whatever happened. Oh, the next thing, how do I even start? Scott, this isn't a preview for the next episode. Now I'm starting to look at Contessa's and Scott's relationship completely different. And this might be like, Scott has pictures of an anesthesiologist that he wants to hire on his phone. And to Cecil's point, you got her on your phone? Yeah, I wouldn't hire her either. What's going on with Scott? Scott looked a little bit too happy and showing it off. Is Scott a cheater? Is Scott a cheater? And Heavenly, I will say something about Daddy and Heavenly. I don't think they're the most attractive couple, but their kids are so beautiful. Her son and her daughter, they did that with the gene pool. They made and maybe because Damon's heavier, I don't know, but their genes together, their kids are, her daughter and her son, chef's kids. So hats off to you, Dr. Heavenly. Have some more. When I see people that have pretty children, I'm like, can y'all have more children? Because the world needs more beautiful people. Anyway, that was Married to Medicine, season 8, episode 12, Holy Spirit or something. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, and I'll be back with, I think I'm going to do Shouts of Sunset. We're going to do a live this week about hot topics. Shaw's of Sunset live about hot topics, and we'll also do Ready for Love. If you are not watching that show, you should start watching because it's actually getting pretty good. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye.